The phone started vibrating before sunrise, not once, 16 times. By the 17th call, I finally reached over, glanced at the screen, and almost laughed. "Dad, please answer." My daughter's name flashed again. 2 years of silence. Now 17 missed calls before 6 in the morning. I turned the phone face down. It buzzed again. Then another notification, a wall of text. "Mom's husband left. We need to talk. It's not what you think. Please do not block me." I did not even open it. Instead, I got dressed for a board meeting worth more money than the house she would chosen over me. Funny how life works. People think revenge feels hot. Mine was room temperature, predictable, calculated, quiet. By the time I reached my office, my assistant intercepted me before I even stepped into the elevator. "There's something you should probably see." She held out a tablet, read it, a post with almost 40,000 upvotes. Update: my ex-husband destroyed our family financially and now refuses to help his own daughter. I stared at the title, destroyed? Interesting choice of words. I opened it. According to my ex-wife, I would become obsessed with money. According to my daughter, I would chosen a company over his family. Thousands of strangers had already judged me. Monster, narcissist, abuser, deadbeat. The comments got worse the farther I scrolled. Not one of them knew I would walk away from the divorce without arguing over the house, or the cars, or the furniture, or even the vacation property. I took exactly one thing, the company I had built before I met her. Everything else I signed away in less than 20 minutes. No lawyers fighting, no screaming, no revenge. She smiled when she left the courthouse. Actually smiled because she thought she would win. At the time, I almost warned her. Almost. But you cannot save someone who's celebrating the wrong victory. A knock interrupted my thoughts. My assistant looked uncomfortable. "There's another post." I frowned. "What now?" She swallowed. "This one's from your daughter." She turned the screen toward me. The title made even me stop breathing for a second. Update 2, I think my mom married a con man, and my dad will not even answer my calls. I should not have opened it. Instead of walking into the board meeting, I shut my office door, muted my phone, and clicked on my daughter's post. The first line hit harder than I expected. "If you are reading this, Dad, I know you probably hate me, but please read to the end." For a second, I almost believed she would finally tell the truth. Then I kept reading. She described me as cold, controlling, a man who treated emotions like business contracts. She admitted she would take in her mother's side during the divorce because, in her words, Mom actually cried. I leaned back in my chair. That part was true. Her mother cried. I did not in front of anyone. My daughter wrote that she would mistaken silence for guilt. That strangers on the internet had convinced her I fit every stereotype of a wealthy husband who thought money solved everything. Then came the sentence that made me stop scrolling. I did not know Dad owned the company before they met. I closed my eyes. Finally, one fact. She went on to explain that she would assumed everything: the company, the offices, the investment had been marital property. Her mother had never corrected her. Neither had I. Maybe that was my mistake. I believed adults should live with the consequences of their assumptions. Apparently, assumptions have children. A knock at the door pulled me back. 5 minutes until the meeting, my assistant reminded me. I will be there. She hesitated. There's someone downstairs asking for you. I do not have appointments. He says he's your ex-wife's former husband. That got my attention. Former, she nodded. He said you will understand. I almost laughed. So the fairy tale had lasted less than 2 years. I told security to send him away. Instead, my phone rang again. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. A man's voice spoke before I could. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I think you have the wrong number. No, he said quietly. I married your ex-wife. Silence. Then he added the only sentence that mattered. She told me half your business was hers. I did not answer. I found out after the wedding that you kept every share, every patent, every client, everything. He let out a humorless laugh. I thought I was marrying into $48 million. There it was, not love, not betrayal, arithmetic. I left yesterday. I almost hung up. Then he said something I had not expected. You should know. They are planning something. What does that mean? I do not know exactly, but your daughter kept saying Reddit was the only place you would have to see it. The line went dead. A second later, my assistant rushed back into the office, pale. You need to look at this. Another Reddit post had just gone live. This one was not asking for forgiveness. It was titled, Final Update Before I Go See My Dad in Person. I read the title 3 times before I clicked. Not because I was nervous, because I was irritated. There was a difference. The post began with a photo, not of me, of the house, the same house I would signed over without a fight. The front lawn was overgrown, one shutter hung crooked. The flower beds my ex used to obsess over were nothing but weeds. The caption read, People think my dad left us with nothing. He left us everything we thought we wanted. I frowned. That was not the direction I expected. Then the post turned. My daughter admitted that after the divorce she would celebrate it. She would help her mother pack my things into boxes. She would told her friends she would finally escaped a man who cared more about spreadsheets than people. Reading it now, I could almost hear her trying to convince herself she would been right. Then she described what happened after her mother's new husband moved in. At first, he played the role perfectly. Flowers, weekend trips, breakfast in bed. He laughed at my ex-wife's jokes. He called my daughter kiddo. For 6 months, they thought she would found the man she would deserved all along. Then the questions started. So, when does the company payout happen? Have you talked to your lawyer? Surely he still owes you something. Every conversation somehow circled back to my business. My daughter admitted she would ignored the pattern. Her mother had not. According to the Post, she would lied, again and again. She told him the ownership dispute was still being sorted out. That I would hidden assets, that the courts would eventually force me to pay. None of it was true. There had never been a dispute. The divorce papers were painfully clear. She would read every page. She would sign every page. She would smile after signing every page. The new husband did not discover the truth until he tried to use the company as collateral for a business loan. The bank manager looked at him like he would lost his mind. You do not own a single share. That was the beginning of the end. My daughter ended the post with something that did not sit right. Tomorrow I am going to Dad's office. I do not care if he throws me out. He deserves to hear the truth from me, not from strangers online. I checked the timestamp. 38 minutes ago. My office was on the 23rd floor. Reception had not called. Security had not texted. Either she would changed her mind, or she was already somewhere inside the building. Just then, someone knocked once on my office door. Not my assistant, not security. 3 slow knocks. Then my daughter's voice, barely louder than a whisper. Dad, I know you are in there. I looked at the closed door but did not move. Then she said something she had never said during the divorce. I was wrong. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. She was on one side of the door. I was on the other. It reminded me of the day she would pack the last of her things. Back then, I would stood in the kitchen while she avoided looking at me. Now the roles had reversed. Dad, she said again, her voice cracking. Please. I unlocked the door but did not open it. She pushed it gently and stepped inside. She looked older, not physically. Life had a way of adding years where mirrors could not see them. Her eyes landed on me, then immediately dropped to the floor. I did not know how to start. You already started, I replied. On Reddit. She flinched. I thought if you saw it, maybe you would read it. I did. Silence settled between us. She took a cautious step forward. I came to apologize. For what? She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Finally, she whispered, for believing the version that was easier. That answer caught me off guard, not because it was emotional, because it was honest. You never asked me what happened, I said. I know. You never read the divorce agreement. I know. You watched your mother accuse me of stealing from her. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I know. I waited. She wiped her face with the sleeve of her jacket. I wanted Mom to be the victim because it made everything simpler if she was right. Then I did not have to question anything. There it was, not greed, comfort, the comfort of believing the parent who cried louder. She reached into her bag and placed a thick envelope on my desk. I brought something. I did not touch it. What is it? Printouts. Of what? Messages. My stomach tightened. Between Mom and Eric, so that was his name. She pushed the envelope toward me. I was not supposed to see them. You read them anyway? She nodded once. I wish I had not. I finally opened the envelope. The first few pages were harmless. Vacation plans, shopping lists. Then the tone changed. Eric, did he mention transferring ownership yet? My ex, not yet. He's stubborn. Another page. Eric, do not push too hard until we are married. Another, my ex, relax. Half of it is legally mine anyway. I stopped reading, not because it hurt, because it confirmed something I would spend 2 years refusing to think about. She had not just fallen in love with another man. She would build an entire future around money she never owned. I thought you should know, my daughter whispered. Before I could answer, my assistant burst into the office without knocking. I am sorry, but security could not stop her. Stop who? She stepped aside. My ex-wife walked into my office. She was not crying. She was not angry. She looked terrified. And the first thing she said was not my name. It was not supposed to happen like this. My daughter instinctively stepped away from her mother. That tiny movement told me more than anything she would said all morning. My ex noticed it too. Her face tightened for a fraction of a second before she forced a smile. There you are, she said to our daughter. I have been calling you. No response. She looked at me instead. I know this looks bad. I could not help it. I actually smiled. Which part? The posts, the lies, the man who left, the messages. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. For the first time in our marriage and probably the first time since I watched her search for words she could not manufacture. Finally, she took a slow breath. I made mistakes. Everyone does. Want to explain? No, I said calmly. You want to negotiate. Her shoulders dropped. She knew I was right. I do not need money, she said. I looked at the envelope on my desk. No, she followed my gaze and immediately realized how bad that sounded. I mean, that's not why I'm here. So why are you here? She hesitated just long enough. I have fallen behind on the mortgage. I blinked. The mortgage, she nodded. There are other debts. The house was almost paid off. I refinanced. Why? Silence. My daughter slowly turned toward her mother. Mom, another silence, then the truth arrived in pieces. Eric wanted to invest. In what? A chain of restaurants. I almost laughed, almost. You mortgaged the house to finance his business. He said it was temporary. How much? She whispered the number, even I had to look at her twice. She had borrowed against nearly every dollar of equity. My daughter looked physically ill. You told me the money was for renovations. I did not want you to worry. You lied to me too. I was protecting you. No, my daughter snapped. You were protecting yourself. The room fell quiet. My ex looked at me as if waiting for me to rescue her. It was a familiar expression, one I would seen years ago whenever something went wrong. Except back then, I usually did rescue her. This time, I folded my hands on the desk. What exactly do you want from me? She stared at me for several seconds before answering. The bank starts foreclosure proceedings next month. There it was, not forgiveness, not reconciliation, an invoice. I need a loan. No, she blinked. I have not told you the amount. You do not have to, please, no. I am the mother of my ex-wife. She froze. The day we signed the divorce papers, I continued, I gave you a fully paid house, 2 cars, and enough savings to start over comfortably. I know. You chose someone else. I know. You told our daughter I cared more about business than family. Tears began rolling down her face. I know. And yet somehow, I said quietly, every road still seems to end at my office. She looked like she wanted to argue. Instead, she lowered her head. I do not know where else to go. Before I could answer, my assistant knocked once. Sir, there's a detective here. Every head in the room turned toward her. He says he needs to ask your ex-wife a few questions about an investment fraud investigation. My ex's face drained of color. What? What investigation? The detective stepped into the doorway. I'm afraid that's exactly what we are here to discuss. The word fraud didn't land loudly, it landed cleanly, like a file being dropped on glass. My ex-wife took a step back so fast she almost hit the chair behind her. That's impossible, she said immediately. There must be a mistake. The detective didn't react. That was worse than anger. He simply opened a folder. We've traced a series of secured loans and investor deposits tied to a company registered under your partner's name, Eric Vance. My daughter whispered, partner. The detective nodded once. Yes, he's currently under investigation for multiple misrepresentations of ownership assets. My ex shook her head hard. No, he said it was all legal. He said she stopped. Because everyone in the room already knew what she was about to say. My daughter stepped forward, voice shaking. Mom, how deep are you in this? My ex didn't answer. That was the answer. The detective continued. We believe Mr. Vance used false claims of access to a private corporate structure valued at approximately $48 million. My gaze lifted slowly. 48 million, not my net worth. The company's valuation. A number people love repeating without understanding. The detective looked at me briefly. You are the owner of record, correct? Yes. My ex made a sound that wasn't quite a laugh and wasn't quite a cry. So that's it, she said quietly. This is about him, not me. The detective didn't respond, but my daughter did. No, she said, it's about you lying to him. That hit harder than the detective's folder. My ex turned toward her. You think I lied to you? My daughter's voice cracked. I know you did. Silence again, the kind that exposes everything underneath it. The detective closed his folder slightly. Mom, we need you to come in for questioning regarding asset fraud and falsified loan documentation. My ex looked at me suddenly, not the detective, me, like I still had authority over the outcome of her life. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she said quickly. You have to believe me. I studied her for a long moment, then I spoke. You didn't mean for it to go this far, I repeated, but you meant for it to go somewhere. Her lips parted. No reply. Just breathing. Security entered the office behind the detective now. My assistant looked uncomfortable, like Shed walked into something she couldn't unsee. My daughter moved closer to me without thinking. That detail, small, instinctive, was louder than anything else in the room. The detective gestured toward the door. Let's go. My ex didn't move, not at first. Then she said something almost inaudible. I thought I was finally winning. No one answered that. As she was escorted out, she paused at the doorway. Looked back at me, not angry, not pleading, just empty. I didn't think you'd actually let me fall, she said. I replied without raising my voice. I didn't let you fall, a beat. You jumped. The door closed, and for the first time that morning, the office felt quiet, too quiet. My daughter stood there for a long moment, then slowly sat down across from my desk. I need to ask you something, she said. I waited. Her hands trembled slightly as she spoke the next words. Did you ever think she would do something like this? Or did you already know she was capable of it? Before I could answer, my phone lit up again. Unknown number, one new message preview. Dad, it's not over. Eric didn't act alone. The message stayed on my screen longer than it should have, not because it was shocking, because it was specific. Eric didn't act alone. My daughter saw my face change. What is it? I didn't answer immediately. I opened the message thread. Another line appeared underneath the first one like it had been waiting. If you think Mom is the problem, you're only halfway right. My daughter leaned forward. That's from Mom. I shook my head once. Unknown number. The detective, still near the door, glanced back. Do you recognize the sender? No, that was the truth, but my instincts were already disagreeing with my certainty. The room shifted into something colder, not panic, calculation. My assistant spoke quietly from the side. Sir, we just received a subpoena request tied to your company's investor registry. I exhaled slowly, of course. It never ends with one layer. My daughter stood up again, pacing slightly now. Eric is gone, right? They took him? Yes, the detective said, but fraud cases don't usually rely on a single actor. My daughter stopped. So there are more people. The detective didn't confirm it, but he didn't deny it either. That was enough. My phone vibrated again. Another message. She didn't steal alone. She was recruited. My ex-wife's voice almost echoed in my memory from earlier. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I finally understood what that sentence meant, not regret. Process failure. My daughter looked at me carefully. You're not surprised. It wasn't a question. I leaned back slightly. I'm not surprised she made bad decisions, I said. That's not what I asked. A pause. Then she added quietly, you already suspected something bigger. Silence. I didn't answer right away because answering meant admitting I had been watching cracks appear for months, just not in her marriage. In the financial behavior around it. Small inconsistencies. Documents that didn't align. Investor interest that felt artificial. I had dismissed it as noise, a mistake I rarely make twice. I didn't know everything, I finally said, but I knew something was being built around my company. My daughter's expression tightened. So why didn't you stop it? I looked at her. Because stopping something requires knowing exactly what it is. The detective stepped forward again. We need that phone for imaging. I handed it over without resistance. As he took it, my assistant hesitated at the doorway. There's one more thing. Everyone turned. She swallowed. We just received confirmation from the bank. My daughter blinked. What bank? My assistant didn't look at her. She looked at me. The mortgage on your ex-wife's house wasn't just defaulting. A pause. It was bundled into a larger credit structure tied to offshore collateral claims. The room went still again. Even the detective paused mid-motion. My daughter whispered, what does that mean? My assistant finished softly. It means the house wasn't just at risk. It was used as leverage. My daughter turned toward me slowly. Leverage for what? Before anyone could answer, the detective's radio crackled. A sharp voice came through. Unit, we've got movement on the secondary suspect. Possible attempt to transfer assets under the company's name. The detective froze, then looked at me directly. Someone is trying to access your corporate accounts right now. My screen on his hand lit up one last time with a final message preview before locking. They think Eric was the plan. He wasn't. The moment the message disappeared from the screen, the detective's grip tightened. Lock down the company network, he said into his radio. Now. My assistant was already moving, fingers shaking as she opened her laptop. My daughter stood completely still, like her brain was trying to decide whether to panic or not trust reality at all. What do you mean he wasn't the plan? She asked quietly. No one answered her because the problem had just shifted shape again, from personal to structural. The detective turned toward me. Do you have a dedicated internal financial team? Yes. Any third-party auditors? Yes. Then someone got through them. That sentence landed heavier than anything before it, because it removed emotion from the equation. This wasn't betrayal anymore, it was access. My phone and evidence custody buzzed again on the detective's desk. Even locked, it lit up with a preview. Check your offshore mirror accounts. My assistant looked up sharply. We don't have. She stopped. Her face changed mid-sentence. We did. But they were dormant. The detective stared at her. She hesitated too long. My daughter noticed. What is she not saying? My assistant swallowed. Those accounts were part of the original expansion structure 5 years ago. They were supposed to be closed after restructuring. I felt something cold form in my chest. They weren't closed, I said. She didn't deny it. The detective stepped closer. Who had authority over closure? My assistant answered carefully. Only the founder. All eyes shifted to me. For a second, I actually laughed, not because it was funny, because it was absurd. I never reopened them, I said. A pause. Then the detective asked the question no one wanted. Then who did? Silence. My daughter slowly turned her head toward me, like she had just realized something she didn't want to see forming. And then my office computer screen, still logged into the internal dashboard, flickered. A new login appeared. Admin access. Granted, my assistant whispered, that's impossible. The detective moved instantly. Trace that login. But before anyone could react, a folder opened automatically on my screen. Name, Project Mirror. My daughter stepped closer. What is that? I didn't answer because I had never seen it before, not once in my entire ownership of the company. The detective leaned in. Who created this folder? The system responded for us. A single line appeared at the top of the screen. Creator, unknown admin, active since day one. Then a second line appeared underneath it, like it had been waiting years to be read. If you are seeing this, then the company was never yours to begin with. No one moved for a full 3 seconds. Even the detective stopped typing. My daughter's voice came out first, barely audible. What does that mean? Never yours. I didn't answer immediately because I was reading the same line again and again. Like repetition would eventually turn it into nonsense. It didn't. The screen changed on its own. A second file opened inside Project Mirror. A timeline. My assistant leaned in, her face draining of color with every scroll. That's not possible, she whispered. The detective didn't look away from the screen. Explain, she swallowed hard. These are system architecture logs. My daughter frowned. I don't understand any of this. I didn't either, not fully. But parts of it were starting to feel familiar in a way I didn't like. The logs showed something impossible for a standard corporate structure. Not one creation point, not one founder node. Multiple authorization layers embedded before incorporation date. The detective pointed. Who authorized this initial framework? My assistant shook her head. No one on record, but... She hesitated, but what? Her voice dropped. It looks like it was seeded during pre-registration infrastructure setup. Like the company was built on an existing financial shell. My daughter turned toward me sharply. You built it from scratch, didn't you? Yes, that's what you told me. That's what it was. The detective finally looked at me directly. Then someone built underneath you. The words sat in the room like dust settling after a collapse. My phone, still on the desk, vibrated against this time from inside evidence isolation. The detective didn't stop it. A new message preview appeared on the screen again anyway. You're asking the wrong question. My daughter stepped closer to the desk. Dad. What question are we supposed to ask? Before I could respond, the system inside my company network triggered another automatic action. A video file opened. No one clicked it. No one authorized it. It simply started. A blank screen for 2 seconds, then a voice. Distorted, filtered, not quite male, not quite female, but calm, too calm. You spent years believing you owned the structure. A pause, but ownership requires origin. My assistant whispered, this is inside our main server cluster. The voice continued, and origin was never you. The detective straightened, traced the source. I can't, she said quickly. It's internal routing. It's everywhere and nowhere. My daughter looked like she was trying not to panic. Is this a hack? I answered slowly. No, because hacks break systems. This was behaving like it was the system. The voice on the screen continued. You built a company worth 48 million. A pause, but valuation is not control. Another pause. You were placed inside a structure that already had a purpose. My stomach tightened slightly for the first time, not fear, recognition. My assistant spoke suddenly. Getting historical provisioning logs. They are showing repeated access before you ever registered the company name. The detective turned to her. Who had access? She looked at me, then away, then back. Foundational partners, my daughter whispered. Mom didn't understand any of this. Did she? No one answered. The screen flickered again. A final line appeared beneath the video. Eric was never meant to win. He was meant to be seen. So you would stop looking at what was built behind him. The video cut out. And for the first time since this started, every system in the room went silent. No alerts, no messages, no logs updating, just stillness. Then the detective's radio crackled again, but this time the voice on the other end wasn't urgent. It was careful, almost hesitant. Unit. We just identified the originating IP cluster behind the mirror system. A pause. Then the sentence that changed the temperature in the room. It's been active. Under your company's name for 5 years. My daughter turned to me slowly. So if you didn't build it. Her voice cracked. Then who did? The question hung in the air longer than anything else that had been said that day. So if you didn't build it. Then who did? My daughter's voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. The detective was already on his radio again, speaking in short fragments that meant something serious was unfolding outside this room. My assistant was staring at the screen like it might rewrite itself again. It didn't. For the first time, the system was quiet. Too quiet. Then my phone, still in evidence custody, buzzed once, just once. A new message preview appeared anyway, bypassing the lock like it was never there. You keep looking at the wrong level. The detective noticed it immediately. That message just came through secure isolation. Yes, I said. My daughter stepped closer. Dad, what does that even mean? I didn't answer her right away. Because something in the structure of everything we'd seen was beginning to align in a way I didn't like. My assistant finally spoke, voice low. The origin cluster. It's not tied to a person. The detective turned sharply. Everything is tied to a person. She shook her head. Not this. It's tied to a registration event. My daughter frowned. What's that supposed to mean? My assistant hesitated. It means the company wasn't started by someone. A pause. It was started with something already running inside it. Silence, even the detective stopped moving for a moment. Then he said slowly, explain in human language. She swallowed. It's like someone didn't build the company and then add a system. They inserted the company into a system that already existed. My daughter looked at me again, searching my face like I had answers I wasn't giving. I don't understand, she whispered. Neither did I, not fully, but I understood enough to feel something I hadn't felt earlier, not betrayal, not anger. Displacement, the screen on my desk flickered again without warning. A single file reopened itself, Project Mirror Core Index. The detective stepped closer. No one touches it, he said immediately. No one had touched it before, that was the problem. The file began scrolling on its own. Rows of names appeared, not employees, not clients, not investors. Labels. Node A, execution, Node B, trust, Node C, distraction. My daughter backed up slightly. What is that? The system voice returned. Same calm distortion. You believed you were the owner. A pause, but ownership is only assigned when identity is verified. The detective looked at me. Was your identity ever used for verification beyond incorporation? Yes, I said slowly. Banking, contracts, fillings, everything. My assistant interrupted. Yes. But those verifications were mirrored across multiple back-end identities we didn't control. The detective narrowed his eyes, so someone was piggybacking on your legal identity. Voice continued. That is correct. My daughter turned sharply toward the screen. Who are you? For the first time, the system didn't respond immediately. A delay, almost. Thoughtful. Then, I am what remained when ownership was separated from origin. The detective muttered something under his breath and stepped back. My assistant's hands were shaking now. We're not dealing with a breach, she said. We're dealing with a framework that predates our entire infrastructure. My daughter's voice cracked again. So this means what everything Mom did. Eric, the fraud. She stopped, realization catching up too fast. It was all inside something bigger. No one answered, because the answer wasn't comforting in either direction. The system finally displayed one last line. Eric was never the actor, he was the signal, and the signal has now reached you. The detective's radio suddenly erupted, not with urgency, with panic. Unit multiple account movements detected across all corporate endpoints. This is not isolate, repeat. This is a coordinated system-wide activation. My assistant whispered that shouldn't be possible. Then the office lights dimmed for half a second. Every screen in the room refreshed at once, and every single display showed the same final message, initiating transfer of control. My daughter looked at me, and for the first time since she walked into this office, there was no confusion in her expression. Only fear, Dad. What is it transferring to? The story has come to an end. Share, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow.